Alright boys, welcome back to the Black Clover mobile video. I have just finished gearing up my YUNO. I've been preparing for him, although I've still got a lot of improvements, but unfortunately the gold account is looking a bit low here. But regardless, we're going to go over today how to gear up your YUNO if you just pulled him, the best team for him, and also what to be doing with him, because he is quite a tricky character. And for an attacker, you'll see right now in the meta, he's not going to be doing too much, but his survivability, his evasionness, if that's the right word to use it, and of course his potential in the future is pretty good. So we're gonna go over today. All right, so start off with the dupe, because that is by far the most important thing. Now I will say, obviously, if you don't already have this guy fully duped out, is he worth using? Probably not. There might be better things to do. You might have better options. However, is it worth putting in despite you not being able to fully max them out? I don't think it's the worst idea. Then maybe you want to save some things to prepare for stuff in the future, because of course we are heading into the Elf arc. There's going to be a lot of characters coming for that one, but as it is right now, for the next few weeks on global until Valkyrie Arm of the World comes out in probably like 2 months time, there's nothing to summon for, so your mouse using summons, it is not really the worst idea to do. But let's start with the duplicates, because that is by far the most important thing about the character. So you can see when you get him towards 5-star awakening, he gets a bit of a chunky stats here. You can see every single time you're going to get more crit rate, the more speed, which is obviously very good. It's something you obviously want to do, but by far the most important thing is his actual awaken passives. As you can see, when he does gain Spirit Dive, which he does get by using his ultimate. So every single time you're going to use ultimate with your 2-star awaken, you are going to get the evasion, or I guess the invulnerability, so you can't take any damage, which I played a few games. It actually is pretty good, especially when you can time it properly with Black Aster enter anti-magic. It is obviously very good there. And moving on towards a 5-star awakening, upon getting Spirit Dive, you're going to have the vulnerability exact same as Awaken 2, but also you're going to get the Blessing of the Wind Spirits, which is going to be increased by 10%. It's going to increase his damage dealt, stacks up to 10 times, which I think is up to 50%, but then if you have the 5-star awakening, it's going to go up to 100%, so you're doing basically double damage or double increased damage dealt. Massively important if you want to use the character of obviously maximum dupes, which it should be easy. People should be able to max them out easily. I think it's already only worth spending universal dupes on festival characters, and even as someone who's, you know, free to play in a way where the fact that I only, well, I don't spend money for obviously universal dupes. I've easily duped out every single festival that's come out so far, but by far the trickiest one, and this is where people are gonna, it's gonna different from the free to players to the whales a little bit, and that is simply his actual skill page. Now, having a skill page is important. Obviously, you want to get that tier 2 buff to obviously have the barrier immunity on all enemies, which is insane, by the way. But it's what the skill effect actually does for YUNO. If Spirit Dive is on self when attacking, there's a chance to a 100% chance, if you do level up towards 4-star, it's going to be able to get a guaranteed SP buff, which obviously you want to recycle your ultimate as fast as possible. And thankfully, there are characters in the game that do that for him, but to do it himself is going to be a cherry on top. But getting towards 5-star, as you can see, you're going to get free SP passively just by attacking. Yeah, it's beautiful. You really want to get those for 5-star, which is obviously what I'm doing. And right now, there are a lot of ways to get, obviously, skill pages. The raid boss returns every few weeks, which you're going to be able to get one there. And of course, right now, we have this little new event, which is exclusive with Global, actually, where if you do defeat it, you're going to get some tickets and also a skill page enhancement. So definitely something worth chasing. And remember, Valkyrie Arm of the World is coming out in like, 2 months' time. And thankfully, her skill page doesn't require as much duplicates. So in terms of you spending your universal skill page dupes, you probably won't be spending on unless you want to use a certain character, but generally you probably won't be using anyone else other than Black Divider Aster coming in like 6 months to 4 months time on globals. So you do have a lot of time to get some more and also to prepare for other characters. So spending right now on YUNO is not the worst idea, and something that I'm obviously doing as well. Now that the duplicates are out of the way, let's talk about the gear. Now I will say my gear is probably not the best. What you definitely want is to have the speed buff and of course the attack buff. He's a DPS, he wants to be having speed attack first. And then other than that, you might want to go towards another set that will be beneficial towards you. However, but I'm unfortunately not a big whale or even a whale at that. So for me to get some good actual magic attack stat rolls here, like 24% and 18, or I guess SS and magic attack here, and especially this one here, this one has the SSS, which I'm still re-rolling, but to get that, I have to keep it, right? Like, while the defense isn't going to be too useful because most of the time I'm going to be invulnerable, I'm definitely prioritizing the magic attack. And remember, boys, even though YUNO himself is going to be invulnerable most of the time, if you fully don't max him out, then having a defense isn't too bad. But remember, This can go on to any other magic dealer in the game. This could go onto my Mariona. It could go into my Julius. It could even go onto my Valkyrie well in 2 months' time. So I'm kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone here. And yeah, the defense is just what I have and what I got best here. So we're going to be using it. For substats, of course, you want to go towards as much magic attack as possible because he is obviously skinned off magic attack. And of course, you want to get some more crit rate too. Currently right now, we are sitting at 73%. I'm still re-rolling like this piece right here, for example, so I'm hoping to get some good magic attack and of course get some good crit rate as well. And then so once again, still a lot of improvements to make here, but once again, still a lot of improvements to make here. But in terms of substats, like I said, I want to get more crit rate, maybe get a bit more damage resistance. Then again, I don't really need that, but it'd be good for in the future. The critical resistance is actually bad, so I'm gonna have to work on that as well. But that's how unfortunate Black Clover mob is. If you're not spending thousands on this game, it's gonna be hard to get the most optimal gear. So you're gonna kind of got to work what you have. And then once again, accessories, we have of course crit damage here, defense, and of course critical rate as well, just to get that extra crit damage as well. You don't need HP on this one, you don't need defense too, so I think getting crit damage and crit charge is probably the best on your accessories. And of course, once again, it kind of comes down to your substats too. So yeah, that is I think all for the gear. Moving on to the talents. Now the red one is obviously very easy to talk about. Magic attack and also more crit rate is what you want to do, obviously, for YUNO. For defense, it's pretty simple. Increase defense here and endurance as well to get some more tankiness, even though you don't really necessarily need it. But in terms of what other things you could go towards, it's just probably the best one. I mean, maybe get more critical resistance for me, I don't know, but the support one is by far the most important one, I would say, a little bit, because you can go in any direction. If you are using someone like Vanessa who can give total defense, then getting the resolution to where you get debuff immunity isn't the worst idea. But once again, if you're planning to most of the time to be evading and obviously not taking any damage, you're going to be recycling your ultimates pretty fast. So having swiftness isn't the worst idea. There's a chance you're going to get 1 SP buff upon having less than 2 SP at the start of the turn. So if you use ultimate, you don't get that proc, you don't get any SP, or you don't really have any character to use it, then having a chance to get 1 SP is actually, I think, a bit more usable, I'd say. And of course, if you're going towards swiftness, the only 2 you can go towards is damage resistance or obviously HP received, which if you're using Mimosa, then you could do that, but I think I just put this on because I'm not really using Mimosa right now. So yeah, this support wheel will probably change a lot more frequently than any other thing, depending on what team you're using and how built up your YUNO actually is. Okay, so when it comes towards team building, you want to go down the mono green route, which is something that I know not a lot of people can go towards, but in the future, I guess when Valkyrie on the World comes out, you can use her with obviously YUNO, so there is some synergy there. But as it is right now, boys, you only want to use them mono green, because honestly all the mono green buffers are actually the ones that give you SP. So by far the best partner and a character that has not returned yet but might return later this season or maybe even next season, so you might want to pick her up, especially if you don't have her. She is by far one of the most important characters in the game right now and one of the best partners for YUNO, because every single time if you have the most magic attack, she is going to give obviously a barrier towards him. And then obviously the most important thing is her tier 1 skill is going to give 1 SP buff towards the high attack target, which most times should be towards your actual YUNO, which is obviously very helpful. Obviously skill 2 can go into YUNO, giving him 3 SPs where you can ult basically almost every second turn. It is very, very good. And honestly, like, if you're using YUNO, you have to have obviously Charlotte. And of course, if you're using 4 mono greens, you got to go towards the mono green queen, and that is Mariona, who is obviously going to do some passive burns, do a lot of damage, give your team damage reduction, stun immunity, you know, kill other characters, taunt other characters, if you, of course, max out Mariona. Obviously, I feel like people, if you're missing her, it's a bit unfortunate. Can you still probably use YUNO? Yes, because then you can put in this actual Vanessa, who's still relatively new, but someone that, if you want to use mono green and if you've been pairing for YUNO, she might have been someone you should have picked up, because she actually is very, very good too. With the fact that, like the Charlotte, you're going to be getting 2 SB buff towards YUNO when you use a single target skill, which is actually really, really good. I mean, using, if you think about it, using this, getting 2 SP buff, then buffing up with obviously Charlotte, that's 5 SP buff in 1 turn before YUNO can even get to attack again. And if you have that skill page maxed out as well, you are going to recycle ultimates very, very fast. I unfortunately don't have the skill page, but if you did actually have her skill page, then you could get total defense to make your team more tankier, and also reliably put YUNO or your team with debuff immunity if you have the resolution talent actually on. She also has the invulnerability ultimate, which you can put onto a YUNO if you're a bit slow and you're not getting ultimate as fast, to where you can give him invulnerability for 2 turns and then wait for that to run out and then ult with YUNO and to get even more invulnerabilities. If you plan to use Vanessa, do you need to dupe her out? Not necessarily, because most of the time she is buffing up, of course, you know, Marileona, she is a defender, she buffs up defenders. But if you have her towards 5-star awakening, then when she does die, you're going to get 8 SP buff, which means another ultimate for YUNO. So yeah, Vanessa is actually pretty good here, and it also one that was recently featured that I recommended everyone pick up for free during the Gateway Reunion was actually Mimosa the healer, which can heal up your YUNO if you're somehow a bit weak. You can give him the damage penetration, which means more damage, of course. But also, if you get towards 2-star, you're going to be getting an SP buff for all allies every single turn, which I unfortunately don't have, but I'm very, very tempted to do it because it's like, just once again, you have that. You're giving 1 SP buff every single turn. Boom. Single target with obviously Vanessa. That's 2. That's 3 SP buff. And you have obviously Charlotte to give 3 SP buff every second turn, which means you're going to be getting, what is it, 6 SP buff. And in the next turn, you get 7. You're getting 7 SP buff. Like with this team setup, it can be very, very good. But then also you're relying on YUNO being the only damage dealer, which is why I still think Marileona is still a perfect fit in here, because they're going to get some more damage dealing, passive damage with obviously her buns. But yeah, these 4 characters are honestly the only people I see people using YUNO with right now, because once again, you want to go down the mono green route. There could be this team, which I don't think will be as good, because I mean, there's some damage there, there's some invasion, there's some like bot stuff you can manipulate a little bit where maybe this team could work. But yeah, those are the only things I suggest using. Again, I want to quickly throw in Real, because he might be another really good free-to-play option for YUNO and also the mono green team, because people are actually still using them right now, and kind of a good counter towards other Charlottes and other mirror matches, since if you do level up the skill effect, there's a 70% chance that you can actually remove 2 buff effects on all the characters, which is very, very helpful. And of course, getting that damage reduction is very, very good. Getting incapacitate and having a chance to stun some characters too, it's still very, very good. So yeah, boys, that is YUNO and how to build him up and what to be doing with him. Like I said, if you played him in PvP and you invested a bit into him, he's very, very fun. You're constantly going to be invading. It's very fun to rush ultimates of the characters, and it's something that I've only played a few games with, and I'm really, really enjoying it. And I'm not even fully at max potential yet. I'm still working on the stuff, because unfortunately I didn't get that lucky in my summons, so I got to spend a bit more time building him up to try and get that max deep skill page. But when I do, he is going to be a disgusting character, and I do believe right now that mono green with YUNO, Charlotte, Marileona, and also the Mimosa is probably the best team right now in the game. So boys, thank you for watching today's video, and hopefully now you have a pretty good YUNO built up, so you know what you're doing with the character. So boys, thank you for watching, and yeah.